I'm gonna wreck it!
Before I even say a word about it, let's look at this on the most basic level. This is a video game based on a movie, based on a fictional video game. Now, I'm not a game designer, but it would seem to me that a project like this is just a no-brainer. I mean, there's a really obvious game waiting to be made here, and for the purpose of my own sanity, I'm willing to ignore that it wasn't made. I mean, it's completely baffling, but whatever, I can't review a game that doesn't exist. But after playing this one, I kind of wish I could.
Wait a second, Felix. Let me help you get up there.
This is Wreck-It Ralph for the Nintendo 3DS. And you might say, oh, like the game in that movie. And I'd say, well, kind of, but nowhere near as theoretically cool. Rather than take the made-up video game from the hit movie and turn it into a real game with a cool retro style, we get a real generic platformer. Ugh, I want to wreck it! Anyway, Wreck-It Ralph is a very simple platformer. You control both Wreck-It Ralph and Fix-It Felix, two characters from the fictional game Wreck-It Ralph, as they try to vanquish the bugs that are destroying their arcade. This translates into gameplay that's perfectly fine for little kids, but way too boring for anyone else. The details are so self-evident and cliched that they probably don't even warrant an explanation, but nonetheless, Ralph is your strong character, Felix is the nimble one. Ralph can break stuff, Felix can double jump and wall climb. You can swap between them whenever you'd like to get through the levels. Usually there's a sign that tells you when. There are basically two practical problems with Wreck-It Ralph. I guess the simple gameplay would be fine if the levels were fun to navigate, but they're not. They're a collection of platforms and crates with very little creativity. That's the first problem. Secondly, there are only 4 worlds, each with a handful of levels, so it's both generic and short. That's not a great combination.
Sheepers! Ouch!
Yeah, I get that a game like this is meant to be more of an advertising ploy than a creative video game. And that's fine, but that doesn't make it any less disappointing. A game that actually did something with the Wreck-It Ralph concept would have at least been interesting and fun. And playable as it may be, this game's anything but.
Ow! Ouch!
Looks like someone had a little courage for breakfast.